Okay, so we've got our oxygen delivery equipment in front of us, and we're going to discuss this particular device along with all of these different color-coded apparatus, which is the Venturi Mask. So the Venturi Mask itself is no good just on its own. You actually need one of these colored elements in tandem with it for it to actually work. Now, the color-coded system is quite an important one to get your head around. You don't necessarily have to go into the effort of actually memorizing all the percentages of each color, but if you just, as an overall guide, understand that blue is the lowest, followed by white, orange, yellow, red, and that green is the highest concentration, then that is a good place to start at least. So I think it's something that most people are familiar with in terms that this device is often used for people with COPD or people who need a very, very, very tight control over the delivery of the oxygen that they're receiving. So the great thing about the Venturi device is that it is a fixed delivery system. So all the other delivery devices have a range of oxygen concentration that they are capable of delivering. This particular device is very fixed. So to keep it really simple, if we pick up one of these coloured apparatus and apply it to the mask, if we take the time to note what's written on it, it says 24% at 2 litres per minute. Now, obviously the 24% is the concentration of oxygen expected to be delivered to the patient, but because of the physics of the Venturi effect, which we won't necessarily go into in this video, it is only a guaranteed delivery of that particular percentage if we follow the second piece of information which is on this device, and that is the flow rate. So very, very, very important with Venturi devices that we follow the flow rate prescribed on the device itself. Don't deviate that from in any way. So let's just go through an example of how to connect one together. So for example, we've got a patient that is required to have 31% oxygen concentration delivered to them. I happen to know that's the orange one, but as I said, easy way out, just read what's on the device itself. Apply the oxygen tubing to the end. Now, this is written on here as 6 litres per minute flow rate, so I'm then going to apply the other end of my oxygen tubing to the source of my oxygen, which in this case is a cylinder. And because it prescribes it at 6 litres per minute flow, I'm going to run it at 6 litres, which you can see on the top of the canister there, on top of the cylinder. So if somebody is not saturating particularly well on this device, the answer is not just to increase the flow, okay, because a Venturi mask doesn't work that way. Basically, the flow rate must remain at all times at 6 litres per minute, but if the patient is not adequately saturating, then the next step is to actually remove this particular orange device, and we would go up the Venturi scale, so to speak, to perhaps the orange one, where we can see written on the orange one, it's got 35%, so just a little bit extra to what our patient was previously receiving. And because it says it's prescribed here at 8 litres per minute of flow, I'm going to go up to 8 litres on the cylinder also. All right. And just to reiterate, if our patient was still not saturating well enough, we would then go up to the next one in the series, which is red, and that delivers at 40%. And if patients are really not saturating particularly well, we'd go up to the green at 60%. Now, even though people might be hypoxic with COPD, very, very important that the Venturi mask does have limitations. If somebody is really, really not well and in an emergency situation, regardless of their COPD status, we would be using a non-rebreather mask to deliver high concentration oxygen in an emergency. Okay, so that is the Venturi mask. So really important just to read these devices and the information contained on them.